Welcome back to the weekly news roundup. This is the business and the SillyVille editions. These are recorded live Fridays, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the show live on over there. Join us in. We have live streaming on 5 different platforms. You can join us on over any of those. Have a look at the website, switchedtolinux.com/live for the current live show links. And you'll get more information and stuff over there, including a new tutorial about fixing a completely messed up encrypted SSD that grub broke and the kernels blew up. Fixed her. Have a new tutorial on the website about that. Video will be up soon. With that, guys, let's go ahead and jump right on into the news. The first up, this one, a lot of people sent me this story. Over there on the Matrix server, we do have a spot. If you want to submit some news spots, you can head on over there. Website, switchedtolinux.com. We'll have the link to that down in the footer of that website. T-Mobile buys Mint Mobile. Ruh-roh. All right. The reason this is a problem is T-Mobile is hacked, it would seem, every third day or so. And the independent MVNOs are not generally impacted by this, but all of the companies that are directly owned by T-Mobile are always impacted by all this. Now, does this mean I'm jumping off of Mint Mobile? No. Let me explain a few things here. As long as they do not change a lot of the back-end infrastructure, that's how this is going to play out here. All right. On Mint Mobile's current infrastructure, you do not have to give them a lot of real information. Obviously, if they needed to mail you a SIM card, they would have that information. If you're giving them your direct payment information, they have that information. But you can go through and obfuscate the data. You can start changing all that data. If you already have your SIM card, then as long as you don't need them to send you another one, then you can go ahead and start changing the address. You can take your payment method off of there and you can put on a prepaid credit card. You can take off other information to the point where they might have your phone number, and that would be about it. Obviously, you're not getting away from that. But the way my Mint account is set up, they do not have any of my real information. And so if the information gets leaked through some T-Mobile breach, they can get my phone number, but not much else. But since I don't use my phone number for any form of two-factor authentication, congratulations. You got the phone number of a very conscientious person that doesn't use it for anything. Good luck with that. And then you need to figure out what connection Michael Smith or whatever name I have on there would happen to have to this number. Good luck. So I'm not all that hugely worried. Now, if they start making a lot of changes and force you to verify things and stuff like that, yeah, I'm going to drop Mint Mobile like a hot potato. But for now, I'm not going to change my carrier. I'm not going to drop Mint Mobile from my affiliates at this point in time, but I am going to start looking for other alternatives. So I actually have collected a list of other phone companies here to have a brief look at to see what some other ones are so we can have more alternatives, because the fact that T-Mobile is constantly getting breached and now owns Mint Mobile is a little bit concerning. But as for now, I wouldn't look at this and say, okay, not a huge reason to completely jump, but I would certainly get in there and make sure that as soon as possible, by the way, get in there and just make sure that as much private information is taken off of there as is conceivably possible. They do take prepaid cards, so you can use prepaid cards for payment. They don't really need a lot of other stuff that they have. So those are just some of those things to think about. So I am concerned about this a little bit, but it's not something that causes me to say, yeah, I'm going to completely jump altogether. But yeah, it is kind of problematic because why are regulators not stepping in when all these, basically every phone, there's the whole idea of having these independent phone companies was to break up the big companies. And now all the big companies are buying up all the little companies. I really think this is FTC needs to start stepping in on some of these sales. But if they do change a lot of things in the background, if they do make it impossible for you to remove information or to obfuscate information, if they make it so you have to have a, non-prepaid payment option, these are reasons you might consider jumping off of it, because the big problem that we have in this case is that T-Mobile does seem to get hacked and breached all the time, and you don't want your real data caught up in that. Well, FCC now proposes satellite-to-phone rules to eliminate no signal once and for all. Rats, those of us who wanted to get away from the cell phones will just have to have the discipline to shut the stupid thing off from time to time. Now, of course, this is when T-Mobile and SpaceX are teaming up to test some Starlink-based systems. Also, Apple is working with another company like Lynx and AST Space Mobile. They're working to have some two-way data connections. Now, these are starting with basic SMS. There was actually a news story about SpaceX and T-Mobile this week as well. I forget all the details of it, but it basically was encompassed inside of this. They're going to start testing, I think, this year is what it was. Now, it's going to start with basic text messaging, and that's what Apple is doing as well, text messaging and iMessaging. Not a lot of data, not a lot of other signals or phone calls. Now, the problem that we have is that the phones emit a lower amount of radiation, which is probably good. And once you get out of the range of a cell tower and they can detect no signal, the proposal is to have the phone boost the power to be able to communicate with the satellite. Basically meaning greater instances of brain tumors, I guess. I don't know. But, it can't be any better if our phones, which they're already warning us about the radiation and limit exposure, are now going to increase their power 100-fold to communicate with the satellite in space. The heck with the people. We want to kill them all anyway, The globalists are clearly behind this one, obviously. Where's my tinfoil hat? But in all honesty, what they're doing is, if the phone can find a cell tower, it's going to have a lower signal. If the phone cannot find a tower, it's going to be able to be set to find a higher signal, and then the phone can then communicate with a satellite when a cell signal is not within range. So that's kind of what the new rules are, and they're proposing to work through those things as we speak. Microsoft, not only do they try and have this full-fledged monopoly with their stupid web browser Edge that's pre-installed, they already make it difficult for you to switch to something else. Now they want to give you full-page, unclosable ads for its crap. This is desperation. This is that sales guy that knocks on your door and you're like, get the hell out of here, you moron. And then he's just sitting there going, but, I gotta sell you my stuff. Go away. All right. So, yeah, Microsoft is getting more aggressive with its push to make users switch to the Edge browser. As reported by NeoWin, after a browser update, Microsoft Edge prompts you with full-page ads that states, "Welcome back! We have new things for you to explore!" I'll be exploring the uninstall function really fast. All right. And because the page takes up the entire title bar, you can't X out of it either. You have to click on the Get Started button at the bottom of the page to move on. From there, it brings you to another page, which is another full screen ad for Edge that tries to convince you to make it the default browser. The time you can get around the unchecked box at the bottom states use Microsoft recommended browser settings, then save and continue box. After that, you finally reach the page that thanks you for updating Edge to the latest version, indicating that this whole process might occur after every update instead of every new install. Lord help us. Especially with how fast these stupid things update. When I finally got my Linux Mint system back on board and the Firefox is updated, I thought about promptly uninstalling it. Holy hell, that thing has become a hot mess. Jeez. I just need to bring in all of my I don't have my group policy code on that computer. I should just import the group policy code. Here, Firefox, lock yourself down like a good little boy. Put a leash on that dog. All right. Now, this is where Tech Radar is all screwed up. They say Microsoft Edge is not a bad web browser. Pfft. All right, fine. It's not as bad as Internet Explorer. I'll give it that, but whatever. I think I actually saw some notes that some of the other tools are doing the same thing. So now you guys are getting full page unskippable. I tell you what, if I get one of these things and it pops up like this, I would simply force shut down the computer, boot the computer back up, and then uninstall this crap as fast as I can. That's it. That's it. Of course, Apple, they're up to their regular shenanigans. Of course, they moved out of China where, it was cheaper to put the netting around the roofs of their buildings than it is to ship a few less products. So yeah, let's go ahead and put some nets around there. It's cheaper than bringing on more help every time they decide to jump out the window. So they move all their operations, or at least a large portion of their operations, over to India, and then they're still going to look at India going, dude, you guys do not let these people work enough. So now Apple convinces the Indian state to loosen the labor laws. So prior to this, India had laws that you could not work in a factory's assembly line for over 9 hours in a day. Apple's like, nah, just increase that to 12. They also increased the number of women who are allowed to work in the factory. So good for you, women. You wanted equality. You got equality. Now India was properly petitioned by Apple to have more women on the factory floors. So congratulations, ladies. You are now equally paid. I hope equally paid. Going on into the Indian sweatshops to make Apple products for people, as Apple is seeking to loosen the labor laws. State Center for India's Tech Industry last week passed an amendment to its application of factories allowing for 12-hour shifts, up for the previous limit of 9. It also eased rules on nighttime workers for women who dominate the electronics production in China, Taiwan, and Vietnam, but are underrepresented in India's workforce. See, y'all got your equality too. Shut up about your lack of options. Now you too, ladies, can go work for 12 hours overnight in the sweatshops in India, making beautiful little iPhones. Way to go, Apple. Way to go. Legislation caps max working at 48 hours per week, also expands the number of allowable overtime hours to 145 over a 3-month period from a previous 75. Let's double the amount of overtime they can make. Not that we're going to pay you time and a half, understand. Our overtime just means you get more hours in your paycheck, boy. Okay, that latter part I just made up on the spot. I don't know if it's true or not. But it matches everything else that's going on here. So, And on to our last one. I think this was our second most common story behind the Mint Mobile one. HP outrages printer users with firmware that update that's suddenly bricking third-party ink. Ooh, my voice is strained right now. I need to slow down the yelling here. All right. So HP's approach to DRM continues rubbing people the wrong way. So prior to this, you would get a warning message that, hey, warning, you're not using official ink. But they pushed out an over-the-air update. This is why you do not connect your printers to the internet, okay? They push an over-the-air update, and the over-the-air update basically bricked a number of printers from being able to use at all any of the third party. So if you were to go online, what's the lawyer's name? Steve, why can I not remember his name now? Steve Lato. Steve Lato did a talking about this earlier this week. He says the ink that he buys costs 25% what the HP ink buys. It does just as good a job printing. It lasts just as long. No problems with it. The way he explained it, being a lawyer involved in all this kind of stuff, he actually says that there are laws against this. You're not allowed to sell a product and then lock it so that the only product can be used is also yours. There are actually laws against that. Not that anybody's following any laws. I mean, anymore, we can shoot someone up downtown Chicago and we'll be out on a $100 signature bond. They're a fifth arrest in one day. They'll still give us a $100 signature bond. And then they'll drop the charges. So what do you think they're going to do with HP? A whole lot of nothing. The best solution, just don't buy them. Just don't buy them. I use Brother printers, and I use the generic cartridges, and my Brother printers don't care what type of ink cartridge is in there. And as soon as they start caring is the day I start switching to something else. But the DRM lock on the cartridge rolled out in an over-the-air update, and all of a sudden, overnight, people that were using their generic print cartridges no longer can use their generic print cartridges. Now they get an entire indicator the cartridges have been blocked by the printer firmware because they contain non-HP chip. Printer is intended to work only with new or reused cartridges that have new or reused HP chips. There you have it. So was this OfficeJet 7740, Office Pro 6970. So if you have any of those, you keep them off the internet, because as long as they do not get the firmware update, then you'll be able to continue using your non-HP cartridges. And if they do update, what I would recommend you do is you smash the thing up Office Space style and you send it back to them. And then you just tell them, I'm sorry, I'm joining Switch to Linux with never, ever, ever buying, promoting, supporting, or endorsing your products again. Eat crap and die. All right. That's what I would do. I wouldn't be buying HP products anyway. Sorry. No, not happening. Not happening. So, of course, they have this wonderful explanation. Here is the quote from the community relations person. So you know it's a lying. You know a community relations officer of a company is lying when their lips are moving. Dynamic security equipped printers are intended to work only with new or reused cartridges that have new or reused HP chips or electronic circuitry. Information about dynamic security is made available in multiple places to customers who are purchasing dynamically security-enabled printer, including the printer box and various online advertising pages and technical materials. The printers use the dynamic security measures to block cartridges using non-HP chips or modified circuitry. Reused, manufactured, or refilled cartridges that use the ink are unaffected by it. Are in circulatory are unaffected by it. Basically saying, and other things are saying, this is for the best user experience. No, my best user experience is not to be bent over a table for using a printer cartridge that I could pay 1/4 of the cost for the same exact thing. That's my best user experience, and this is exactly why I use Brother printers and not HP printers, because every Brother printer I've had enables me to go on, buy the cartridges at 1/4 of the cost, and they keep working for a long time. So there is what they are up to. If you'd like to help support the channel, we do have affiliates. Today we are highlighting A2 Hosting. If you need a website, consider using A2 Hosting, tlm.li/A2H. They have shared hosting. Don't ever use WordPress hosting. Just get shared hosting and install WordPress. Much easier, much cheaper. They have VPS hosting. They have dedicated hosting. You can head on over there, tlm.li/A2H. If you need a website, that will help support the channel. If you need somebody to build the website, let me know. That's actually what I do when I'm not doing videos. With that, guys, let's head on over to your favorite section and mine. Let's go to SillyVille. And first up in SillyVille, Microsoft Teams is adding 3D avatars for people who want to turn their web cameras off. What's wrong with just turning off your web camera and having whatever picture you have there? Oh, no. I need to have a 3D model of myself. Can I make myself like some creature? Some goblin? Be sitting there hopping around. That's all I need. I'm in a professional meeting, right? I got some goblin looking around. Because the guy shows webcam off. Just shut your webcam off. You got the option of picture. If you don't see your picture, you got your generic user thing. Okay, we do not need a 3D avatar just because I turn my webcam off, okay? Let's grow up, society. Grow up. Grow up. I mean, and besides, I am highly offended by this. Maybe they're not showing it. I don't want to see the wardrobe. I want to see the face and the hair and the body. I want to see more options. I need to make sure that I can do a pink-haired, rainbow philosophied person that specifically sits there with a constant speech bubble. My pronouns are they, them. My pronouns are they, them. If I can't have that, I don't want your 3D web avatar. I'll do it with my picture. Thank you. Well, we talk about pork barrel spending, but this one goes a little bit too far. Come and read about Swinecraft, a government project using your tax dollars to teach pigs how to play video games. Pork barrel spending has never gotten any better than actually teaching real pork how to play games. Oh, God. Yikes. Pig pong. Feds fund experiment to teach hogs to play video games. Their entire premise is that the hogs did better than random statistical choice, so clearly they were understanding. They're not as good as chimpanzees, they said, but they were understanding. This is what it says here. In the pig experiments, funded in part by the department, the agricultural department, hogs were taught to push joysticks with their snout to move a cursor on the screen. The 4 micro pigs at Purdue University. Do they also own Purdue, the meat company? Or is that was Purdue a meat company? I forget. Anyway, performed significantly better than random chances, suggesting they were cognizant of what they were doing. So they performed better than random chance, so they were cognizant that they were playing a video game. Keep telling yourself that. Candace Coroni, the director of the Center for Animal Welfare Science. Great. Animal welfare science. Lord forbid that we prevent the pigs from playing video games to enjoy their life. But yeah, they did the research years ago, but they updated it just recently. While our pigs are nowhere near as competent as monkeys and chimpanzees, what's really cool is they could do the task to any degree at all. I mean, I thought they were just good for, laying in the mud and making bacon, really. But they got to have something while they're waiting for their bacon bodies to grow. I mean, I'm going to be petitioning for video games to be installed on every pig farm so that every pig, that way we can have ethically sourced bacon. Because as we get the ethically sourced bacon from pigs who have not been left to just wallow in the mud, they've actually had things to do like play video games. That is what I want to see. I want to see ethically treated pigs with video games, especially since we're trying to fatten them up anyway. We know that getting outside and meandering through a field and eating grass, that is not conducive to growing a lot of fat. But sitting down and playing video games is definitely conducive to growing a lot of fat. And I want my bacon full of fat. All right, so we need to petition this. We need to start a petition to make sure that every pig farmer everywhere gets video games for their pigs. All right, guys? And cite this study, please. Ms. Crony said in the Purdue press release detailing her work, they were actually able to overcome major conceptual hurdle of understanding that their manipulation of the joystick was having an effect elsewhere, and that controlling the effect was what elicited a reward is the thing that we find really remarkable. That's right. It's remarkable. You'll remember that Canada released the 300 kilogram, 661 pound super pigs. Just keep that in mind. But if a super pig comes for you, just give him an Xbox and he'll be fine. You'll be fine. Well, there was a man stranded in a snowstorm in Oregon. Let me refresh the story. I think we might have a video of this. I'm not 100% sure. No. Okay. Maybe not. So a man would stop, dude. Okay. I'm just going to tell you about the story. I'm done scrolling the stupid page. All right. If I want to see your stupid pop-out video, my Lord, I'd actually be watching it. All right. So a man is stranded in a snowstorm, in Oregon when that big storm comes through, and he's actually stranded with one more motorist. Nobody knows where they are. They can't get signal on the cell phone because it's Oregon. I drove through there. Trust me, I know. All right, so he has a drone with him, though. So he ties his drone, ties his cell phone to a drone, sends out a text message to a friend. Obviously, it can't send because there's no signal. He flies the drone around until he got just enough signal to text his friend his exact location and that they were stuck and please send police. And there was some pictures. Oh, yeah, here you go. Here's some pictures. So here's the drone carrying the cell phone away. I don't think this is the actual one because they were stuck in a snowstorm. I don't know. But they got this is a reenactment picture you can see because he was actually in snow. But yeah, he tied the cell phone to the drone, flies the drone up to get cell signal to get help. And then, of course, this is where he's at. Willamette National Forest. Oh, I drove through here. That's exciting. Yes, I would not want to be stuck here in the cold. Yeah, I do remember driving through this. It was pretty windy. It was very pretty, amazingly pretty. If you get a chance to drive through this area, it's really nice. But he was stranded, so he drives his flies his drone out there. See, he wasn't a good van dweller. You good van dwellers, look. You can't be in Oregon this time of the year. You gotta be down south if you don't want to be in the snow, all right? If you're not like a foresty forest who climbs the top of frozen mountains for fun, you don't want to be in this particular spot during the winter, all right? Just letting you know. All right, but that was good. That was good. Well, we all know that we have to switch to electric everything because that's what it takes to save the planet. But apparently e-bikes are bursting into flames all over the place, especially when plugged into charge. So if you happen to have an e-bike somewhere, make sure you're not keeping it plugged in because they seem to be bursting into flames. There we have it, guys. There we have it. Yeah, this is fine. Kind of looked like from the band news the other week with the, spraying off from the Koofy pictures. The guy whose bike caught on fire when they were trying to decontaminate the Koofiness off of the bikey. The economy's in shambles. The banks are collapsing. The border is being overrun. Earthquakes and other natural disasters are hitting. And we're on the brink of World War III with nuclear power plants. What else could go wrong? Well, e-bikes bursting into flames. So this is why, I just don't want an e-bike. I don't want to be in an apartment complex where somebody has an e-bike or a hoverboard or some other thing with a big battery like this is prone to exploding. Especially as we start forcing everybody to get these stupid things and then the cheap quality ones. How much you want to bet? Like 1 in 500 of these things have a known manufacturer's defect from China. They go, we're going to burn down another apartment building. Electric bike craze, which took off during COVID-19 lockdowns, now has a dark side. Uncontrollable deadly fires from the lithium-ion batteries that power them. The number of blazes is rising rapidly, triggering warnings of fire. Warnings from fire officials. The fires appear to be concentrated in New York City, where the number of blazes more than doubled last year to 216, according to the New York City Fire Department. Fires from e-bikes and other so-called micro-mobility devices, such as electric scooters, have injured 40 people and killed at least 2 this year. That's a lot for this time of the year. All right, these are incredibly dangerous devices if they are unregulated or used improperly, they said. I think they're probably dangerous anytime. Fun bikes and scooters that tourists rent to zoom around the city. Yeah, they're really fun. They now appear to be total death traps. That's right. So, basically, as we start converting everything to electric, we're going to start seeing a lot more lithium-ion fires going on. So, And finally, a group of Georgia thieves were busted by cops because they forgot to charge their Tesla before the crime. So they're using a Tesla as a getaway vehicle. They had to stop and charge it, which, of course, as we've said many times, it takes a long time to get this thing charged. You're not going to pop into a gas station, steal $5 of gas and then, and then be on your way for another 30 miles. You're not going to do that. But they end up catching up with the guys. The stolen items, several guns, and suspected marijuana were covered. It was just oregano. If you guys want to be like jerk bank robbers or something, just get piles of actual just spices. Wrap them all up in big packages, all wrapped up, throw them in the back of your getaway car. Look at all this stuff we got. It's oregano. All right. Lord, Fox is doing it too. All right. Georgia suspects taken into custody for stealing gaming systems after police located them charging their getaway vehicle. Gwinnett County North Precinct officers were responding to a dispatch call notifying them of a theft in the area. Officers arrived at the scene. They were told the suspects fled in a Tesla. All right, here's pictures of it. Oh, man, they got a lot of stuff. Dude, why are you stealing so many electric toothbrushes? Those electric toothbrushes? My Lord, they're stealing electric toothbrushes. All right. So the officers then broadcast the description to surrounding officers. Suspects were discovered a short ways away from the scene of the crime, charging the vehicle. Tesla vehicle set in parking lot. It's just a picture there. All right. Here's their firearms. Are these real guns or are these air guns? Clips there. They got safety. Yeah, I'd go with these. I've just never seen a barrel like that. I can't say I'm a huge gun guy. This one definitely looks real. This one looks real with the way the clips in there. That's just a weird looking barrel, but I can't imagine a trigger safety being something on like an air pistol or something. And then here's our bag of lettuce. It looks like. So they say they recover the stolen gaming systems as well as several guns and apparently a lot of electric toothbrushes. They're talking about the gaming systems, but look at this. I see far more electric toothbrushes. What are these guys must have really clean teeth. I'm telling you, kind of nuts. But just a note, pro criminal tip, if you're going to use a Tesla as your getaway vehicle, please make sure you're charged before your getaway. I mean, really. Dude, I forgot to plug in the car. You're supposed to plug in the car. I thought I was supposed to plug in the car. Oh, no, I guess we got to charge our car. Let's hang out in our car full of stolen goods. Hope no one sees us. I'll be back here brushing my teeth. These are really good toothbrushes, yo. If you want to help support the channel, we do have a Patreon page, patreon.com/TOMM. You can jump on over there. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching this video from Switched to Linux. This channel would not be possible without the backing of the program supporters scrolling on the screen now. You can be a supporter at Patreon at patreon.com/TOMM. or at thinklifemedia.com. I also want to thank the open source community who creates such excellent software that makes producing this show possible. Please remember to support your software communities. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.